السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Continuing inshallah ta'ala with the surahs of the Quran, Surah Al-Mursalat. Surah Al-Mursalat will start inshallah ta'ala Surah Al-Mursalat, Surah number 77. Surah number 77. And we'll go through inshallah the first 7 verses. And we'll talk about what is the meaning of Al-Mursalat, as it's mentioned in the first ayah, which refers to what has been sent forth. Not just sent, but sent one after the other. And it's called Surah Al-Mursalat, as we see from how the surah is, or the Mursalat is mentioned in the first ayah. And Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, when he said قرأت سورة المرسلات, سورة والمرسلات عرفة. So some would call it والمرسلات عرفة, like with the first ayah. And the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام recited it in Salatul Maghrib. And so this is the name of the surah. It's a Makki surah, of course, and it's something that has been revealed, as it wouldn't be mentioned inshallah ta'ala, with regards to the munafiqeen or the hypocrites, and especially towards the end of the surah. It was said to be revealed, I believe, surah number 33, when it comes to the time of revelation, that it was revealed, or verse number, or surah number 33, according to the revelation. So this is Surah Al-Mursalat. And when we talk about it, inshallah ta'ala, we'll see, inshallah ta'ala, with regards to the talks about the Day of Judgment and the resurrection and the recreation by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will create the human beings again, and the warning against those who deny the resurrection and the like of this. So we'll start inshallah ta'ala with the recitation of the first surah verses, first 7 verses inshallah. Repeat after me inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. والمرسلات عرفا. فالعاصفات عصفا. والناشرات نشرا. فالفارقات فرقا. فالملقيات ذكرا. عذرا أو نذرا. إنما توعدون لواقع. والمرسلات عرفا. Easy, just make sure that the ra is heavy. فالعا, the ain is light, and then the sad is heavy. فالعاصفات. Don't say فالعا. No. فالعا. فالعاصفات عصفا. عصفا. Ain is light and the sad is heavy. والناشرات, the noon with shadda takes 2 counts and the ra is heavy. نشرا, the ra is heavy. فالفارقات. فالفاء light. فالفارقات, قاف is heavy. فرقا, the ra is heavy. فالملقيات ذكرا. عذرا أو نذرا, like this. إنما, نون وشدة takes 2 counts. توعدون لواقع. Now, the translation of the ayat: by those sent forth in gusts, or winds sent forth in gusts, فالعاصفات عصفا, and the winds that blow violently, and by the winds that spread clouds, and those angels who bring criterion, and those angels who deliver a message as justification or warning. Indeed, what you are promised is to occur. As some or many of the surahs revealed in Mecca, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by some of the creation of Allah for people to reflect upon the ayat of Allah, the signs of Allah that He created. So He says, وَالْمُرْسَلَاتِ عُرْفًا. Al-Mursalat is the thing that is being sent. It's in general the things that are being sent over and over again. So some said it's the angels, and some said it's the messengers, right? And some said it's ar-rih, or the wind, right? So and this is, all of that it's not contradicting to one another, because it's all of these things are being sent. So, but even, though when you look in the next verses, it can give more weight to the opinion that this is the wind because of what comes afterwards. So that's why the next ayah, فَالْعَاصِفَاتِ عَصْفًا. فَالْعَاصِفَاتِ عَصْفًا, which refers here to the wind. The wind when it blows, which is, when it's the strong, refers to the strong winds. That's what Imam Sa'di rahimahullah, he says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing, but what's the swearing for? It's by these ayat of Allah, swearing for the resurrection and the recompense of actions by the Mursalat. And again, he mentioned here that this is the angels, those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send them with the whatever is from the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the matters of religion and universal matters. And urfa, what is known, right? It refers to what is known to be the wisdom and what is known to be right, not that they have been sent for nonsense or things like this. So he takes the opinion that this refers to the angels. فَالْعَاصِفَاتِ عَصْفًا, also he said it's the angels that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send them, and he gave them this characteristics, فَالْعَاصِفَات, as we would see the roots of it, from something that comes or they respond to the command of Allah immediately, and they do it very quickly and very swiftly, like the storms and things like this. Or it refers to the wind. فَالْعَاصِفَاتِ عَصْفًا وَالنَّاشِرَاتِ نَشْرًا. Also it can give the meaning of the angels. And nashirat, when something is being widespread or spread. So they spread what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreed for it to be spread, or the skies or the clouds, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give life to the earth with the water that He sends from the skies. فَالْمُلْقِيَاتِ ذِكْرًا also refers to the angels, those who mulqiyat, they throw down, they bring down the dhikr of Allah, the best thing ever, which is the wahi from Allah, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bestow His mercy upon His slaves when they follow the wahi revelation from Allah, and the great benefits from the wahi revelation from Allah. عُذْرًا أو نُذْرًا. عُذْرًا, to إعذارًا للناس. That means to as a justification, or to make the matter very the hujjah or the evidence established upon the people. They have no excuse now. Al-udhr is to have an excuse. So it was sent to remove the excuse. Nobody would have an excuse that he didn't receive the message. أو نذرة, or nudhra from a nadara, which is warning. So nobody would come and say, I did not receive the message when the wahi had been revealed. إنما توعدون لواقع. Indeed, what you have been promised is to occur. And what you have been promised is the resurrection, the recompense of one's actions. The believers will enter the Jannah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The disbelievers will be admitted to the hellfire as a result of their actions. And the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also in this world for the believers and things like this. So this is some of the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sweared with first, with regards to the things that are being sent, and Many people, they don't pay attention to that it's all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and why things happens, whether it's the messengers of Allah, the angels of Allah, even the wind. The wind, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send the wind, when there's storms, most of the human beings, they don't reflect upon this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran directs us to reflect that this is, who's the one that sent this? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything is by the command of Allah for a reason, to warn the people. If it's a bitter cold, it reminds the people of how the hellfire. This is أشد ما يكون من النار من الزمهرير. This is a reminder of the hellfire. And if it's extremely hot, it's also a reminder of the hellfire. The hellfire has both. And it shows the power of Allah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is able to do all things, and the human beings are so weak. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will to send a punishment upon them, they cannot defend themselves, because He's the one that is above all. He's able to do all things. So this is ayat of Allah that needs to be reflected upon, and people need to humble themselves and to have their hearts always working and obedient to Allah and humbling oneself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because as a result of that, the benefit is to believe in the wa'd from Allah, to believe in the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and therefore to act according to that promise of Allah. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He's the owner of all things, the most merciful, the one that is no one is to question Him. If He promised something, that means the promise will be fulfilled. So why would a person then sit back and relax and not fulfill their part, which is the actions? Do they have weakness in the belief in the promise of Allah? When we look at the words of the ayat, wal Mursalat, again comes from, meaning the one that is being sent forth, comes from Ra, Sin, Lam, like the Rusul. The Rusul have been sent, messengers of Allah. And it comes from something that's been sent from not being in one state, and then it's been sent. And even to be sent in a way of, they call it the tu'ada, is not to be sent in haste, to be sent with in a subtle, not in a subtle way, but to be sent in a pace that is comfortable. Like when they say ala rislik, and the Prophet ﷺ, he said that to the two men when they were walking, and he was taking his wife back home from the masjid, and two men, they would start walking fast. So the Prophet ﷺ said to them, ala rislikuma, take your time, do not rush, do not be in haste. And he told them that this is Safiya, this is the wife of the Prophet ﷺ. So wal Mursalat again refers to anything that is being sent, messengers, prophets, the angels, the wind. Urfa from Ain Ra Fa, which is whether it refers to something one after the other, or something that is known. Al-Urf is either comes from al-Ma'ruf, something well known, something known to be good, or one after the other. And al-Urf and al-Ma'rifah, the word al-Ma'rifah is used for information, something to be to be known, and that's more specific than al-ilm, as we said. And al-ilm refers to knowledge and more, or information and more, which also refers to the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and things like this. So wal Mursalati Urfa, with what is known to be good, or if it refers to the wind, that one come after the other. فالعاصفات from Ain Sad Fa, and al-Asifa is the storm, when something, or the rihun asif, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that in the Quran, that means it's a wind that is sent in such a severe way, stormy. والحب ذو العصف والريحان كعصف مأكول, like this. And also it refers to when the grains are taken from its ears, from when it's collected, when it's harvested, what is left is nothing but just looks like ruins. So this is called asf, as if a strong wind came and destroyed everything. So this is what فالعاصفات, something that is blown in strong way. Asfa, as also previous in the surahs, so from mutlaq here, violently, strongly, because asf or asafa is strong. So al-asifat is the noun of it. Asfa, that means this is how it's blown. والناشرات from nashara, which is something scattered, something that is widespread. وإذا الصحف نشرت, that means it's opened or given to the people. وهو الذي يرسل الرياح بشرا بين يدي رحمته, and some of the narration نشرا, right? So نشرا, that means to be widespread. وينشر رحمته, and so on. So this is when something is, and actually that's a word also they use when something is published. Someone would say نشرت كتابا, I published a book, right? And they call the publisher الناشر. Nowadays this is how it's used. So when ناشرات نشرة, as with referring to the winds of the angels, نشرة, far and wide, and so it's the act, it's the verb that it's being done in an intense way. فالفارقات, which comes from فاء راء قاف. الفرق is when two things are separated. So فالفارقات فرق, those who separate. And to separate, or basically if it's the angels, they separate between the haqq and the batil, from the truth and the falsehood. وإذ فرقنا بكم البحر, when we split the sea for you. And also the fariq, or the group, it's a group versus another group, so it's split, right? So فالفارقات فرقا, farqa is the act of it, the act of separation, or the criterion between the haqq and the batil, between the truth and falsehood. فالملقيات, that means referring to the angels, they throw things down, from lam qaf ya, mulqi. So because they bring down the wahy. سنلقي في قلوب الذين كفروا الرعب. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says we will throw down into the hearts of the disbelievers the terror in their hearts. And so فالملقيات, ذكرى, reminder from dal kaf ra. عذرا, again as I said, عذر from the same three letters, which comes as a meaning of an excuse. And al-udhr is when someone try to wipe away a mistake or a sin. Whether it's a person who say I didn't do it, or I did it because of this, or I did it but I would never do it again. It's all trying to find a way out, not just apologizing. So al-i'tidar, or the apologizing, or to apologize in the Arabic language, is to do one of these three things. Either a person say I didn't do it, or I did it because of such and such, or person would say I did it and I'm wrong but I would never do it again. All of that is in the context of apologizing, or al-i'tidar. And also comes udhran, that means that these things are sent to take away the excuses, so that nobody would have an excuse because the message had reached. عذرا أو نذرا, and nudhra comes also from nun dhal ra, which comes from warning, and the vow comes into the same meaning, النذر, وجاءكم النذير, the warner. إنما توعدون لصادق, indeed you توعدون, you've been promised from وعد, لصادق, لواقع, I'm sorry, which means it surely will occur, from وقع. وقع when something falls, and here refers to when something is well established, comes down and it's established and it's there. No. So as we see the benefit again of the verses, this is creation of Allah for people to exalt Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to take that as an evidence for the resurrection, and that the creation of Allah, whether it's the angels, the wind, all of that is something that would leave the person to have in his heart the humbleness to accept and to believe in the promise of Allah, the wa'd from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب, barakallahu feekum. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. And we continue inshallah ta'ala with more, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the steadfastness to be upon what is right, inshallah. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على محمد وصحبه وسلم. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.